Did you know Aaron Kaufman once took a 1963 Ford Falcon and turned it into a track-dominating beast that hit over 160 miles per hour at Pikes Peak? That's beyond skill. It's artistry. Kaufman's custom creations are anything but ordinary. From muscle cars reimagined with surgical precision to vintage rides brought back to life with a rebellious twist. Stick around, because we're counting down 10 of the most beautiful, head-turning cars ever built by the man who redefined what custom really means. Number 1. 1963 Ford Falcon Race Car. Aaron Kaufman, the mad genius who broke free from Gas Monkey Garage, really let loose on this '63 Ford Falcon. Built initially by Jim Haddon, Aaron remade it to go toe-to-toe with the mountain gods at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. It's running a Ford Boss 363 cubic inch small block, churning out a chest-thumping 500 horsepower. Old school as hell, with a Holley 750 CFM HP Series carburetor and MSD ignition. Behind that beast of an engine sits a Richmond Super T10 4-speed manual with a McLeod RST clutch, passing torque to a Mark Williams modular rear end. The beauty of this setup? You can swap between two different center sections, a Detroit locker diff with 4.00 gears for aggressive bite, or a TrueTrack with 3.00 gears for longer legs. Up front, you've got Global West suspension. In the rear, it's RideTech lower control arms with a third link, and yes, those RideTech triple adjustable coilovers keep all four corners glued. It's planted, poised, and downright predatory. A Chris Alston sway bar out back keeps things tight when things get hairy, like during a 12.4-mile climb up Pikes Peak. Stopping power? Oh, it's got that covered with Willwood brakes, 6-piston calipers biting down on 14-inch rotors up front, and 4-piston calipers clamping 13-inch rotors in the back. Visually, the Falcon is slammed low over a set of Forgeline GW3 wheels, 18x8 up front, 18x9 in the rear. Gold centers, polished outers. The new vinyl wrap designed for the 2014 hill climb gives it that perfect racer flair. On the interior, think clean and functional. Racepack digital dash with data logging, quick release wheel, 5-point harnesses for both seats. This ain't your Sunday show and shine cruiser. It's a purpose-built warrior that just happens to look mean as hell doing it. If that first build impressed you, just wait until you see what's coming up next. But before that, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. 2. 1959 Ford Galaxy Skyliner. The 1959 Ford Galaxy Skyliner is already a rare gem. Just 12,915 were made in its final model year. But the one Aaron Kaufman and the team at Gas Monkey Garage got their hands on? Let's just say it got the royal treatment. What sets this beauty apart is that outrageous retractable hardtop, an absolute marvel of 1950s American engineering. Ford took convertible guts, wagon parts, and a dream, and somehow made it all fold into the trunk like a mechanical magic trick. We're talking over 600 feet of wiring and multiple motors, all choreographed to tuck that roof in with the grace of a ballet dancer and the complexity of a moon launch. It's like watching a transformer do yoga. But it's not just the roof that stuns. This Galaxy looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor, except better. This was a full rotisserie restoration, and every nut, bolt, and bracket gleams like jewelry. The chrome is flawless, the paint is aero straight, and that color combo? Chef's kiss. Even the stainless fender skirts have been polished to mirror finish perfection. You could shave with the reflection. Under the hood, it's still old school Ford glory. A 352 cubic inch Interceptor Special V8 sits proudly with a period-correct carburetor, generator, and even the original style Gates hoses. The radiator looks like it's straight from 1959, except, again, nicer. They even tucked a battery shutoff switch in there to make storage a breeze. Every stitch, thread, and panel is either OEM or better than OEM quality. Those seats? They still have the silver thread trim Ford used back in the day. Pieces so rare Aaron's team had to chase them down from collectors and stash holders all over the country. Here's the kicker. The underside of this car is just as nice. You could eat off the frame rails, the X-brace, the rear axle, the new exhaust system, Everything's painted, detailed, and protected, like it's heading to Pebble Beach. Even the brake lines are fresh and properly routed, and the team made sure every single bushing and bolt was either new or refurbished. Out back, it's got the Continental kit, shining like a mirror, and up front, those spotlights on the fenders. Cruising this thing down the boulevard? That's the dream. Power steering, smooth automatic trans, wide white wall tires on 14-inch wheels, and hubcaps that probably deserve a trophy of their own. It floats, it glides, and when that top folds down in front of a crowd, jaws hit the pavement. Every single time. 3. 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. The 1967 Mustang Fastback is already a legend on its own. But when Gas Monkey Garage gets hold of one, things go from classic to flat-out iconic. Aaron Kaufman had his work cut out for him when Rawlings sourced this bad boy for a branding campaign headed to Spain. At first glance, the black paint gleams like it just rolled off the showroom floor. But under the surface, it was a rescue job, a real diamond in the rough, and it needed serious wrench time to get right. The foundation of this monster is the S-Code 390 cubic inch V8. That's 320 horses straight from Ford's golden era, pushing this fastback from 0 to 60 in around 7.3 seconds. Not too shabby for something from the 60s, right? That big block V8 churns out a throaty growl that just screams, American muscle. Quarter mile? She'll eat it up in about 15.2 seconds at 91 miles per hour. Top end? You're looking at around 124 miles per hour. Those are real deal stats that hold up even by today's standards. Kaufman didn't just slap on a few parts and call it good. He focused first on the front end and suspension, since this thing's going to need solid control if it's going to show off without flying off the road. Custom wheels gave it a clean, muscular stance. Inside, we don't get all the details, but knowing Kaufman, the interior likely walks that perfect line between vintage charm and modern comfort. Moreover, Spain's strict car mod rules meant the build had to stay close to factory spec. That meant no wild deviations, no superchargers the size of your leg, and no 6-inch side pipes. But even working within those limits, Aaron made it pop with that signature Gas Monkey attitude. The result was a resto-mod masterpiece. Clean lines, brutal performance, and that unmistakable fastback silhouette. With auction prices ranging from $35,000 to $70,000 for similar models, this one's sitting comfortably at the high end. But Rawlings isn't flipping it. A headliner for the Gas Monkey brand with enough American iron under the hood to make folks in Madrid do a double take. 4. 1971 Ford Bronco. Aaron Kaufman and the Gas Monkey crew knew exactly what they were doing with this build. The Bronco's legendary 92-inch wheelbase is perfect for trail maneuvering, but the mods take it to another level. Under the hood is a 302 cubic inch small block Ford V8. That's the go-to engine for torque, reliability, and just enough grunt to push through mud, sand, or snow without breaking a sweat. Forget the stock column-shifted 3-speed manual. This one's rocking a 5-speed stick with selectable drive modes. Perfect for off-roading enthusiasts who want more than just weekend warrior looks. It's backed by a Dana 44 up front, a Ford 9-inch rear end, and a Dana 20 transfer case. What really seals the deal is how this Bronco blends classic design with a show-quality finish. That 6-point roll cage? It's functional and beefy, but also wrapped under a removable hardtop, making it the perfect blend of safety and style. Inside, you'll find aftermarket bucket seats that hug tighter than stock ever could, and Mickey Thompson wheels wrapped in extreme all-terrain tires complete the build. Everything about this ride says capable, but it's not just a rock crawler. It's a showstopper. From the custom paint job to the blackout package that swaps shiny trim for stealthy gloss black, this Bronco is built to turn heads and climb hills. It's easy to forget just how important the first-gen Broncos were to the SUV scene. Donald Frey, the same guy behind the Mustang, had a hand in this boxy beauty. And now, well, they've exploded in value. Restored examples like this one fetch big bucks, especially when done right. 5. 1932 Ford Roadster. Aaron and the crew at Gas Monkey Garage turned a classic into something straight out of a dream and backed it with pure firepower. Built back in 2006 and costing over $130,000, it has only racked up about 700 miles since then. That's showroom fresh. It was a no-expense-spared, ground-up custom job, using the real-deal 1932 Ford frame. But every bolt and bracket got the modern touch. You're hit with suicide doors, a Duval windshield that gives it that sleek, low profile, and a paint job in plum-crazy purple metallic that could stop traffic on a cloudy day. That color wasn't just slapped on either laser-straight bodywork. It was fully sanded and buffed to a mirror finish, and topped off with hand-laid pinstripes by Daniel Gay. Pop the hood, and you're met with a beastly 327 cubic inch V8. It's topped with 6 Stromberg carburetors on an Offenhauser intake, and paired up with a Muncie 4-speed manual transmission. It's got that classic Ram's horn exhaust, custom built with functional cutouts and Flowmaster mufflers that make this thing rumble like thunder on wheels. Every inch underneath the car is just as pretty. A fully boxed chassis with a triple-plated chrome, dropped axle up front, a Vega steering box, and chromed hairpins makes for a suspension setup that's as tough as it is clean. Out back, there's a Curry 9-inch rear with chrome ladder bars and a polished center section. That's the kind of rear end that handles power like a champ. Slide into the cockpit, and you're sitting on hand-stitched black leather with a two-tone tuck-and-roll interior, inspired by the legendary Tom McMullen Roadster. There's a custom engine-turned auburn dash panel, packed with moon gauges and classic instruments. That's real hot rod heritage, brought to life with modern luxury. 6. 1970 Ford F-100. This is one of Aaron's most personal and passion-fueled builds, built for Jonathan Mansour over at ArcLight Fab. Originally a bone stock 62 Ford F-100 unibody, bought new by the original owner and left untouched for 40 years, it ended up in Jonathan's hands just 4 miles from home. But life happened. The truck sat for 5 years collecting dust, until one day, Aaron and Jonathan rolled up their sleeves and kicked off what would become a jaw-dropping transformation. Phase 1 was about getting it roadworthy. Sid's dropped axle up front, mono-leaf suspension, and a simple flip kit in the rear. But drum brakes and a tired old motor weren't going to cut it for long. So came Phase 2. Out went the old engine. In came a Ford 302 cubic inch V8 from Aaron's personal Falcon project. Rebuilt with Moly-forged pistons and rods, a Comp camshaft, and topped with a Shelby intake and Holley 750 carb. It's a true street stormer, now pushing 300 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. Backed by a T5 manual from a Fox body Mustang, it's got modern gear ratios for smooth cruising and plenty of grunt. Even the wiring got a custom touch, tucked and hidden to keep everything under the hood looking clean and mean. As for cooling, a Ron Davis radiator with SPAL fans keeps that motor chill even in Texas heat. Brakes were overhauled too. CPP disc brakes with a brake booster mean this truck stops just as well as it goes. You've got RideTech HQ shocks, front and rear, a C-notch in the rear frame, and leaf spring suspension keeping it all together. It's got a stance that sits right, low, level, and totally dialed in. Inside, the bench seat's been reupholstered in leather, and it's still rocking the rubber floor mat. You've got a retro sound head unit with Alpine speakers in the dash and a silent Coors sound deadener, keeping the cabin quiet and tight. It might look old school, but it's got comfort where it counts. But this wasn't even the final form. At Phase 3, ArcLight worked on a full custom chassis kit just for these unibody trucks, and Jonathan's F-100 was one of the first to rock it. Number 7. 1965 Ford Econoline Pickup. The 1965 Ford Econoline pickup is probably one of Kaufman's most eye-catching builds. It's low, like really low. Slammed right down to the pavement, this thing has the stance of a bulldog and the attitude to match. Now, back in the day, Ford wasn't messing around when they saw Volkswagen making moves with their little vans. VW's Type 2 bus was pulling in fans left and right, so Ford clapped back with the Econoline, a forward control van and pickup truck built from Falcon parts, tossed onto a unibody platform with an F-100 I-beam front end. Sounds simple, but it worked. What you got was a tough little hauler with a cab-over design that screamed utility. But let's be honest, the stock version looked more like your plumber's ride than a dream build. That's where Kaufman came in. He took this little box of a truck and gave it a whole new soul. The custom stance alone is worth talking about for a minute. It's got that over-the-top, cartoonish kind of squat that feels more like something from a Hot Wheels collection than real life. Slammed suspension, wide tires, and a killer set of wheels that peek out like they're too mean to stay hidden. It's low, it's loud, and it's not apologizing. Under the skin, the original Econoline had some interesting quirks. Ford went with a mid-engine layout, pushing the inline-six behind the front axle. No V8s here, there just wasn't room. But that design choice did make for a cleaner cargo bed. No engine hump breaking up your storage space. Although in 1965, when Ford dropped in the bigger 240 cubic inch inline-six, it caused just a little intrusion into the bed. Still, pretty sleek for the time. What made this build such a standout is how Kaufman took something that originally had balance issues and made it street-ready. Ford's fix back in the day was slapping a 165-pound weight under the bed just to keep the tail down. Kaufman, though, he fixed the look, the stance, and probably threw in some engineering magic while he was at it. 8. 1962 International Scout 80. The 1962 International Scout 80, built under Kaufman's Arclight Fab banner, isn't flashy in the traditional sense. It's not some high-gloss, chrome-drenched cruiser. Nope. This thing is all grit, built for dirt, rocks, and everything in between. On the outside, it might seem simple. Baby blue body, white hardtop, nothing too crazy. But that's the trap, because this Scout is packing serious hardware under that modest skin. The whole thing rides on an Art Morrison chassis. Coilover IFS up front, 4-link with a strange 9-inch rear out back. The top's been chopped by 4 inches, and the windshield is laid back, giving it a low-slung, fast profile that turns heads. The factory grille, swapped for a custom hand-fabbed piece that looks so right, you'd swear it came from the factory that way. Inside, it's still Spartan. Vinyl bucket seats, some fresh carpeting, modern gauges. Don't expect a leather-wrapped dash or touchscreen anything. What you do get is just enough comfort to keep you happy while bouncing down a dirt trail. Under the hood is a 4.3-liter V6 from a 2013 Silverado, putting out around 190 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Nothing exotic, but solid, reliable, and a massive step up from the factory 4-banger it came with. Plus, with headers, an aluminum radiator, and a dual exhaust system, this thing breathes better and probably sounds like a beast when you lay into the throttle. Number 9. 1968 Dodge Dart. Richard Rawlings had sentimental reasons for picking this Dart. It reminded him of the one he and his dad used to deliver newspapers in, back in the day. Originally, it was supposed to get a 340 small block and a 4-speed from a 71 Challenger. But plans changed fast because the boys from Roadkill called him out, and suddenly, this sentimental project turned into an all-out back-alley brawl. Rather than slap in a motor and call it good, Aaron and the team went all in. They cut out the floor pan, ripped out the frame rails and rear suspension, and back-halved the car. That means a full 4-link rear-end setup, a Powerglide transmission, and a fat 9-inch rear to take all the punishment that was coming its way. The front? That got a Magnum Force K member and fresh suspension, and they moved the firewall back 6 inches. They weren't messing around. The heart of the build was a supercharged Hellcat Hemi. That engine came with a factory wiring harness as heavy as your mother-in-law's Buick, and the computer system was so complex, it took a team of wizards from Diablo Sport even to start the thing. We're talking 52 modules, a rolling encryption code, and a PCM that was more stubborn than a mule with a toothache. Diablo Sport had to fly in, crack open the ECU, disable half the modules, and reprogram the thing just so the engine would fire up. Insane. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, it got real personal. Roadkill, allegedly, waited to see what GMG was building, then dropped rules last minute that the Dart couldn't meet. Classic ambush. GMG built its car from scratch. Roadkill? Outsourced to Diversified Creations. Despite the sabotage and the sleepless nights, the Dart ripped down that makeshift parking lot track like a banshee. The first torque converter didn't hook until 6,000 RPM, so they swapped it. Then, they blew up the reverse bands, rebuilt them, and had to custom machine a third converter just to mate it to their flex plate. Number 10. 1976 Ford F-150 Highboy. Have you ever seen a truck that just looks like it could climb a mountain, drag a house down the road, and still cruise to a burger joint on Saturday night? That's this 1976 Ford F-150 Highboy, built, owned, and personally driven by Aaron Kaufman himself. Not for a customer, not for a show, but his truck. Kaufman left the patina intact, little dings, faded paint, and all. It's sitting on a 4-inch lift, running on 35 by 12.5-inch Nitto Grappler tires, wrapped around 17-inch aluminum beadlock redline wheels. Tough enough to tackle trails, smooth enough to hit the highway. Gladiator Spec Fox shocks, custom shock mounts, and Arclight's own front spring hangers give it that aggressive stance. Inside, it's all classic 70s green with a custom seat and cup holders. It's got power steering and power brakes with front discs too. Under the hood is a good old Ford 390 V8, fed by an Edelbrock intake and carb, with matching dress-up parts and twin electric fans to keep things cool when the summer heat's cranking. The Highboy also had that narrower 33.5-inch chassis frame, heavy-duty springs and shocks, and some serious 4.1-to-1 gearing out back. That combo made it a beast on the trail. You could point this thing at a rock wall and just go. The best part? It wasn't babied. It was driven. Kaufman used it, beat on it, loved it. It's a true driver's truck built to look tough, feel tough, and take whatever you throw at it. If you're into badass builds, bold design, and raw mechanical talent, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you're first in line when we drop our next video.